3, Katrina Shanks. Order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister of Finance. What do recent indicators show about the economy's performance this year and its outlook for the next 3 to 4 years?
Has the Minister adequately heard the question?
No.
Order. Order. There is so much noise in the House, I couldn't hear Katrina Shanks reading that question. Would she please commence again?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister of Finance. What do recent indicators show about the economy's performance this year and its outlook for the next 3 to 4 years?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, the New Zealand economy grew 3% in the calendar year 2012, among the fastest growing in the OECD. Growth was broad-based, and by the end of 2012, 15 of the 16 measured industries were showing growth. The outlook for the next 3 to 4 years is growth of 2 to 3%. This is based on increased private consumption, supported by higher business and consumer confidence, increased business investment, increased residential investment, and a continuing wider recovery. Elevated terms of trade and increased dairy and commodity exports are also expected to be long-term drivers of income growth. This is good for families because it means more jobs, lower unemployment, higher incomes and more opportunities.
Yeah, very good. Supplementary question, Katrina Shanks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What has been the basis for the economy's stronger performance this year?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, recent economic data is reasonably encouraging. Tax revenue is ahead of forecasts. The indexes that measure the growth of the manufacturing sector and the very large service sector are both showing growth. Business and consumer confidence are at 3-year highs. Employment has increased and unemployment is falling, although it still remains too high at 6.2%. Last week, building consents were reported as up 43% in a year, reaching a 5-year high. This is not just related to the rebuild of Canterbury, but also reasonable growth outside of that. Dairy prices remain well above long-term averages, and they may be supported by the recent welcome falls in the New Zealand dollar against the US dollar.
Supplementary question, Katrina Shanks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. How does New Zealand's economic growth compare with other developed countries?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, at 3% for the 12 months to the end of 2012 compares favourably with most other developed economies. That is higher growth rates than the US, Canada, Japan, UK and the Euro, and comparable with Australia. On current trends, it's likely that over the next year or two, New Zealand will grow at similar, if not slightly better rates than Australia.
Supplementary question, Katrina Shanks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What reports has he seen on New Zealand's economic program and the government's approach to turning around the economy?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I recently read a report from the Australian Financial Review, which says, quote, "What immediately stands out is Wellington's grown-up and stable government." It also says that New Zealand's bad luck is about to take a turn for the better, and it will reap the benefits of disciplined policy making. The Australian Financial Review, which is not noted for being a cheerleader for New Zealand, notes that New Zealand did not have a mining boom to shield it from the global financial crisis, but they acknowledge we did have a devastating earthquake in Christchurch and a drought this year. It notes, quote, "John Key's national government has also had to deal with the legacy of nearly a decade of backsliding and big spending by the Labor government."
Say that again. Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Is it correct that his 2013 budget says that his government will fall 61,000 jobs short of his election promise of 170,000 extra jobs?
Honourable
Mr.
Bill
Speaker,
English.
I can't remember the exact numbers, but the number of new jobs has been less than was expected. Over the next couple of years, though, we expect that will pick up. And as I just pointed out to the member, we have had to deal, and I'll quote the AEFR, with a legacy of nearly a decade of backsliding and big spending by the Labor...
Point of order. Grant Robertson.
Point of order, Mr Speaker. This was a specific question which, remarkably, the Minister of Finance couldn't remember his own budget, but he did show that he didn't know.
I gather the point of order. The question's certainly been adequately addressed. Further supplementaries? Question number 4, David Shearer.
Speaker, the Prime Minister, has he received any